Girl, you can beat a face in 35 minutes.
Get it done.
Let's talk about it, please. Please, I need you to train everybody else just in that, but let's talk about it.
I'm gonna tell you where the pressure started. When I first started at MAC, it was called a peak hour demo. So that means you do a full face in 30 minutes.
Wow.
And if you don't, they will write you up. I got written up a few times, so that helped put that speed, that speed up. But literally, I feel like the best way to complete a face in 35 minutes is starting with the foundation first and then building everything on top. Okay. When you start with eyebrows, eyes, you're trying to perfect it to the core because your face isn't complete. So you feel like you have to do a little bit more, so you spend longer there. But when you get your face done out the way, foundation, concealer, blush, anything face, and let everything build on top, it cuts your time in half.
Every day a woman
You're watching Trish Stanley TV. Hey everybody, welcome to Trish Stanley TV. We have a wonderful show lined up for you. If you've been following us and you've seen previous shows, you know I am a novice when it comes to applying makeup. Well, I am bringing on an expert, a celebrity within her own right, none other than Jazmine Page of Jazzy Faces Co. She's going to be joining us and teaching us, you know, a couple of skills that we can do. Those, if you're like me, novices that we can learn and put into practice and apply to our faces. So you do not want to miss this episode with Jazmine Page. Stay tuned.
Every day a woman
You're watching Trish Stanley TV.
It's time to live your dreams. Nothing's gonna stop you now.
You're watching Trish Stanley TV.
Keep going, keep going. Every day a woman reigns.
You're watching Trish Stanley TV, where the everyday woman reigns.
Every day a woman reigns.
Hey guys, welcome to Trish Stanley TV. Today we have a wonderful guest, a very special guest of honor here, none other than Jazmine Page, celebrity. Put a dot on that, a cap on that. Celebrity makeup artist. I met you. I was sitting here trying to think because I have brain farts often, trying to remember how I connected. How did I learn about this person? And I was like, how did I find out about Jazmine? And it was Barbie.
Barbie, yes, the lashes,
The lash lady.
Yes.
But yeah, it was Barbie that she suggested because I was looking for a makeup artist. And you actually were the makeup artist for 2023 Queen for a Day recipient, which is Nisha from Badass Nails.
Yes.
And so you came, that was our first time meeting. And then I think you also did my makeup another time. We're going to have more of those. But I want to welcome you to, for the first time here on Trish Stanley TV officially.
Yes.
Thank you for coming and hanging out.
Thank you. This is my first interview, so I'm so excited.
Woo, woo. So happy to have you. First of all, I have to tell you, I'm really hating on your locks because I just, yes.
I'm about to say, yes, you have locks.
Yes, I cut them in December.
Oh, wow.
Didn't want to, but I had to. But yours are beautiful.
Thank
just
you.
a side note, y'all, because y'all know I love locks. When did you start locking?
In March. So this is 3 going on 4 months now.
Are you serious?
Yes, and I love them. I wish I would have did this so much sooner.
So are you going to, because you know that's the new thing now with locks, are you going to keep them loose and curly like that? Or you want to keep them that way?
I want to give it like that butterfly look.
Yeah.
That real buff, like puffy and flowy and earthy type of look versus just straight up and down.
Yeah. I think I might do that next because I'm going back after a year, but I think I might go that route because I want something a little different.
Yeah, it's more freeing. Yeah. Now I know I do have to comb out the curls just to maintain them.
Really?
Because they start matting up too. So I have to constantly comb them out after I get a retwist to just keep them.
Oh, that's high maintenance for me.
I know. I'm like, I said some of them going to have to just stay locked.
Right. But it's beautiful. I love it. And I always
you.
love the play with the color
Yes.
in your hair. But we ain't here to talk about hair. We're here to talk about makeup. I was doing some readings on you. Of course, I follow you on social media. You have an amazing following. I would also put you in the category of an influencer because you really do have a huge following. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. After doing some reading on you, you are just pretty much a beauty industry professional because you started out doing hair. Start how you were introduced to this industry.
So let's take it all the way back.
Yeah.
My mom was actually pregnant with me when she was in hair school.
Oh,
so
wow.
I grew up in the salon life all my life. I was that salon baby, salon kid running around playing with mannequins. So, and then after high school, I went to pursue that in hair school at Paul Mitchell, 𝐕𝐈𝐃 in Roswell.
Okay.
Loved it. Started dabbling into makeup and was like, wait a minute. I think I like makeup a little bit more than hair. So once I left, I graduated from hair school and went straight and worked at MAC. And never looked back at hair. I only touch my hair if I need to, but I don't do anything with hair no more. So strictly makeup. We did have like an educator that came to our hair school to teach us how to do makeup. And me and her kind of just stuck by hip. And I was like, yep, you're going to show me how to, take this makeup to the next level. So after hair school, I went strictly to makeup.
So now let me ask you a question, because you said you were, I think, maybe the third person I've heard said that they went to MAC. What kind of program does MAC have for, I'm like, why MAC? Because I hear MAC a lot when it comes to makeup artists.
So I feel like when I started doing makeup, that was like in 2010, 2011. So it's a little bit over 12 years for me now. MAC was like that #1 spot for makeup. This was before Instagram became Instagram, and Ulta and Sephora became Ulta and Sephora. It was strictly when you needed makeup, you go to MAC. So getting out of hair school in 2011, that was that top #1 girl. So I was like, let me go work at MAC.
Okay,
but
that's smart.
I'm very happy that I chose that company because MAC, unlike other makeup brands today, is very, very, very essential for their boot camp. So before you can even touch somebody's makeup on the floor or anything, you have to go through a whole week to 2 week boot camp and pass certifications.
That's amazing.
To be able to even talk to somebody on the floor. So until you pass that, then you are certified to be that makeup artist. So MAC definitely told me the blueprint of how to be a makeup artist, like that foundation of that, that ground level. And then the artistry just came after that.
And I was sharing, we were talking offset, and I was sharing with you, I can kind of tell, because I've been having to have my makeup done for so long. I can't do it at all, but I've had it done. I've had it done long enough in what I do to where I can tell those who have some formal education versus some people, which is fine, who have the natural talent. What would you say, even those who have natural talent, would you suggest at some point that they educate themselves to a certain degree?
Like most important, they definitely have to educate themselves. One thing I've noticed in the industry of makeup, when I go on set and work with other artists that weren't educated, I can tell the difference. The sanitation, the setup, everything, those all matter when you're working with multiple people in your kit and using those same brushes and things like that. So the education part, that foundation part is very, very essential for a growing artist. And I feel like if some artists don't have that part, they fail quicker in the industry. Because I mean, you can have the gift and you can do it and do it in your sleep, but if you don't have that business minded of it, that side of it, I don't think it will last that long. So I appreciate MAC. Again, after I left MAC, I did go to Sephora for about 2.5 years. So Sephora was a little different from MAC. I was a little bit more free and could only focus on artistry.
Oh, really?
MAC was more all about paperwork, numbers, structure, cleanliness.
It gave you the business side.
It gave me the business side.
Okay. That's smart. How do you feel? We're gonna go back in your history here in a second, but how do you feel about trends?
Trends?
When it comes to makeup?
I love trends.
Okay.
Mainly for, of course, we know that everything is trendy, especially here in Atlanta. It's a trendy city. One person do something and they like it, everybody in the city got to have it. Right now, the makeup trend is blush. So, and I remember like 2-3 years ago, people were scared of blush. They don't want that pink stuff or that orange stuff on their face. Now it's like overly blushing the face. So, and now following that trend, even with my clients typically like natural glam. I kind of add that trend in the face because it is important to still feel like you're in. Like I'm that girl, I'm in. So I still add a little bit of blush on the face, but still keeping it minute and toned down so they don't feel scared of it. But trends, I definitely feel like is important because it just keeps you up to date with what's going on today.
Yeah. So. Now, what is the difference between everyday wear of makeup in front of camera makeup Or is it? And is there a difference? And why is there a difference?
It is a difference.
Okay.
So everyday makeup is pretty much little to none. Even if it feels full coverage on you on everyday basics, if you're not being behind cameras or anything like that, everyday makeup is more natural. If you do everyday makeup and get in front of the camera, it's gonna look like nothing.
Okay.
So you need to boost it up just for the camera so that the camera could pick up something on the face. If you just do like foundation or just an eyebrow and go on camera, it's like, oh, she has pretty
washed
skin.
out, yeah.
Oh, she's like, there's no, depth in the contour, the
Right,
highlight.
right.
So the camera picks up, the makeup picks up off the camera when you add a little bit more. So it's definitely different.
Yeah.
So you can have a natural makeup look for camera and a natural everyday without camera. And those are two different looks.
Okay, so now what about red carpet and camera looks? Or is there a difference between those
That's the
two?
same.
It's the same. Okay.
Because it's still cameras, because you take pictures, videos with the red carpet. So really, camera makeup is just a boost up from everyday makeup. So if you need to add a little bit more blush, a little bit more concealer for the camera, definitely do it. The camera love it.
there has just been I don't know how long ago, but there just was where, I know at the early conception of IG, some TikTok a little. It was kind of washed out before TikTok came along, but it's YouTube definitely, where it was just this whole big phenom of everybody going on and doing tutorials on how to do makeup, and so now everybody loves makeup now. Did you enter in during that time, and how, in your opinion, has what we're doing now in makeup transition from that time?
So I didn't. I entered in right before that time, which
Okay.
was really great for
Perfect.
my business.
Right.
It was really great. So when I started makeup, it was really just strictly for camera. It was
Okay.
literally for photo shoots, fashion shows, video shoots, things like that. It was never for everyday women, for a birthday party or, just going out with friends. Instagram made it to
Changed
that.
it.
Changed the game for
Yes.
all of us in the beauty industry, even hairstylists.
Yeah.
So I really feel like I came in right before that, but it came in at the perfect time because I started doing makeup around 2010, 11, and then Instagram came out around 2011, 12. So from there, it just skyrocketed.
Yeah, it's amazing. I know the difference for me, which I'm old as, I won't say old as dirt, but
No, you're not.
I'm growing in grace. But when I got married, I had 10 bridesmaids. I had a big wedding, and I was the only one who got my makeup professionally done. Now,
Oh, well, yeah.
you
see
got
how they do
makeup
it.
artists come and they do the whole entire wedding party,
Including the moms.
including the moms. So that has to be a boost.
Yes.
In the makeup industry, specifically part of the beauty industry, for you, in your opinion of just the business side of it. Let's just spend just a little bit of time on there because you're very business minded. You're very, even though as talented as you are, you handle your business.
Yes.
You show up on social media when you're supposed to, which
Right.
is time consuming.
Consuming.
You're a mom, and so how were you able to balance all of that? And also, why is it important to handle the business just as well as you do the talent of what you do?
Because the business is what pays the bills. So that's most important.
Yeah.
But to balance it all, for me, I'm very like a one-track minded person. So I can't chew gum and walk at the same time.
Really?
I can't multitask at all. So I literally have to set out my schedule where it's like, okay, this week I'm focusing only on content for my makeup. I'm going to post out some content tutorials, give a little tips and tricks, that. Next week, I'll focus on case content, which is my son, case content. So I literally have to piece by
Oh,
piece.
you got a map.
Yes.
Okay.
I have to, because
Okay.
if not, I would feel like, what am I supposed to do? Where do I start? So I have to literally set aside one by one and then knock it out like that.
And
Because it's a lot.
I love, I met your baby when you came and did my makeup, and he's just so cute to me. And you are able to balance being a single mom, and Case has autism, and you master that. And we were
Yes.
talking, and we don't have to go in great detail, but how you have to move and swerve your life to be a mom.
To be a mom.
Of Case. And so kind of share why you choose to share part of that journey with your followers.
With the world.
Yeah.
Because entrepreneurship didn't choose me. I didn't choose it, it chose me.
Yes.
And Case literally forced me to be an entrepreneur. Because before Case, I was working at MAC, I was working at Sephora, I actually worked at makeup jobs. Once he came with his diagnostics, I could not have a schedule with other, other
Right.
Employees. I had to
Right.
create my schedule because my schedule became K's schedule.
Yeah.
So literally, if K's not available, I'm not available. And that's just that's just pretty much how it goes.
Yeah.
So I always have to look at his calendar when someone books or someone asks, inquiring about a service. I'm like, let me see if he's available. So it's really just sorting through the scheduling with him to determine how my schedule would look. So that's how I kind of
And it hasn't been a hindrance because you working. I mean, you're working and. Let me say this. We tend to think when we work in a specific industry that it's overfilled, it's oversaturated. But you good when you stay busy in what tends to be deemed as an oversaturated industry. What's your secret to that? Or are you just being Jazmine?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's me being Jazmine and me still setting out that time to post content so that clients can see, hey, I'm still here, I'm available. And I feel like posting content helps the books keep flowing. Because we see, we stroll, we see something we like, save it, and we probably never go back to it. So if I'm just posting one time, they like it, they save it, they may forget about me because it's 100,000 oversaturated makeup artists.
Right.
So just to stay consistent is what helps keeping my book flowing. So I have to stay present so that they can see me on social media to be like, okay, let me go book. I have an event coming up. Let me go book. Now, if I don't post, then I may not see the books moving how I need to be. So being consistent in the post is being consistent with your booking.
Yeah, because you're doing an amazing job, and even I love the way that you map it out because it leaves you time for case. Because like you said, case is the priority.
Yep.
So, but like I said, even with you prioritizing it, you ain't missing the coin.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing. So you're not losing anything.
It's a blessing. And I always say, what's meant for you, you don't have to work super hard for it. It comes naturally.
Yes.
So when I get those calls, hey, Jazz, are you available to come on set? It was meant for me.
Yeah.
So I look at it like that.
Yeah, I love it. The thing that I love about you, obviously outside of your talent, is the fact that, girl, you can beat a face in 35 minutes.
Get it done.
Let's talk about it, please. Please, I need you to train everybody else just in that, but let's talk about it.
I'm going to tell you where the pressure started.
Okay.
At MAC, back to the foundation where it started. MAC was very serious and very strict on time management.
Yeah.
They even gave us certifications on time management. So when I first started at MAC, it was called a peak hour demo. So that means you do a full face in 30 minutes.
Wow.
And if you don't, they will write you up. I got written up a few times, so that helped put that speed, that speed up. But literally, I feel like the best way to complete a face in 35 minutes is starting with the foundation first and then building everything on top.
Okay.
When you start with eyebrows, eyes, you're trying to perfect it to the core because your face isn't complete. So you feel like you have to do a little bit more, so you spend longer there. But when you get your face done out the way, foundation, concealer, blush, anything face, and let everything build on top, it cuts your time in half.
Yeah.
And it's also a lot of different techniques that help, like putting on your lashes. If you line your lash line with the glue before putting the lash on, that'll help save some time. So it's just different tips and techniques throughout the face that help speed up that time, but starting with the foundation first.
I love it. I mean, and I love getting my makeup done. I just don't want to be there forever.
Right. Like, all right, I gotta go.
But you made me think when you mentioned MAC, and I have to share this funny story. When I was releasing my first CD, I was so brand new. I was new to branding. I was new to everything. And so luckily, I have a very, 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 very good friend who is a photographer. And she was like, okay, Trish, this is what you're going to need. You're going to need a professional makeup artist. I didn't know anyone because it was new. And so she said, well, I think I know a guy. And so she brought the guy in. And what I'm going to tell you, I look like a drag queen. I'm not exaggerating. I'm going to see if I can find them pictures and post them.
Lord.
And this was for a CD cover.
Oh, yeah, no. You can't play like
and
that.
And so, I mean, and I got enough moles on my face. I don't need you to make a mole on my face. So it was a horrible, horrible experience for me as far as the makeup. And then my graphic artist had to go in and do all of this
Become the makeup artist.
Yeah, it was horrible. But then I saw him years later, and I was so happy to see him. He was working for MAC.
Aww.
And I think that's what he needed. He needed the education behind
and someone to say, okay, that's too harsh. Maybe use a different color.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have that person behind you, then you're just doing what you think is pretty.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you could kind of determine who is educated and who isn't, because if they aren't, all of their faces look the same. It's like, why everybody look like you?
That's saying a lot.
Why everybody look like you?
Yeah,
So you only know how to do one face.
Yeah.
And every face doesn't need the same contour, the same blush, because we have different cheeks, different nose, different eyebrows. Everybody don't need the same thing.
Yeah. And last question before, because we're going to go for a break and we're going to do a couple of demos with you. But before you go, your tagline. I only had part of it on here, so I want you to finish it. But I love it. It says, well, you say, my main goal is to enhance the natural you, which I love, because when you did my makeup, I could step out on the other side of this camera and go to a brunch and not look like, ooh, she's pretty bit strong.
Right.
Yeah. And so I love that about you, because you do enhance the natural you. But your tagline is Jazzy Faces and Co. brings out your glow.
Yes, I love that.
What's the rest?
And it's igniting your inner glow outwardly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's literally just like I said, is you pick your canvas, you bring out your special features of each person, and you're literally making them glow from the inside outwardly. So that's my mission and my purpose of glamming.
I love it, I love it, I love it. You guys, we will be right back. When we come back, we're going to have a demonstration of Jazzy. She's going to show us a couple of techniques. We'll be right back.
Hi guys, it's Dr. Cassandra Parks Evans, and I'm here to bring you your tip for today. We're going to talk about self-care. Yes, I know I've talked about self-care before, but I still need to talk about it because we're still not doing it, guys. And guess what? I can say that too. So that's why I'm making it a priority to talk about it again. Self-care is very important, especially with today's lifestyle. We need to make sure we replenish, we need to make sure that we renew, and we need to refresh. So what does that look like? That can be journaling, that can be grounding yourself. So we're going to do things like yoga, we're going to do Pilates. Not only does that help us with our mental, but it also helps us with our physical, because we're learning how to stretch and keep those muscles limber too, as well as our mind muscle. So we want to make sure we are practicing good self-care. Self-care is also making sure that we eat right and have a good, healthy diet. Self-care also looks like and feels like taking care of ourselves. So that means we're doing skincare, we're doing all the things necessary to make sure that we're feeling good, looking good, and doing good, okay? One thing that I personally do to help me with my self-care is I color. That's one little thing that you all probably didn't know about me, but I love coloring. Coloring is very therapeutic to me. So maybe you want to pick something that is a good hobby for you to start and learn for your self-care, all right? So learn how to unplug, unwind, and be the person that you need to be so you can challenge the world, okay? So if you have any questions, comments, and yeah, send me a comment. I would love to know what you do for self-care, and maybe it's something that I can incorporate into my routine, okay? You can find me on all social media things that are Let's Learn Love, and until then, it's been Dr. Sam with your tip for the day.
Welcome back to Trish Stanley TV. We're continuing our conversation with celebrity makeup artist Jazmine Page of
Jazzy Faces.
Jazzy Faces Co.
Yes, .co is the difference.
All right, so before the break, you were talking about the importance of that 35-minute face.
Yes.
And so while we, on our little break here, you were able to prepare the face. Just share what you've done so far.
So far, I did primer, foundation, concealer, and a little bit of setting powder underneath her eyes. So typically, to complete that face in 35 minutes, or really 25 minutes, you want to start with the foundation. The importance of starting with the foundation is to cut that time in half so that you can build the rest of your products on top of that face. We did lay the primer first because we know primer is so important. Just like a nail tech will prime the nail before they lay acrylic, just like the painter will prime the wall before they paint it. We want to protect that face, before we actually paint the face. So we want to protect it with the primer. So the primer is on, the foundation is on, and the concealer. So now we're about to go in with eyebrow, a little bit of eyebrow editing. Her eyebrows look really good. She did not groom them right away, but with this technique, it's going to look like she just walked out of a fresh wax or thread. So taking my concealer, and I love this concealer line, this concealer brand is Thread Beauty. I love to coat the brush both sides to evenly deposit that product on the brush. And tracing where her eyebrow starts to grow. So literally tracing the bottom of her eyebrow arch with that brush and concealer. And this is going to create that outline for the eyebrow so that when it's time to fill in the brow, you are taking less time to fill in that brow. Because when we typically start with our eyebrows, we literally want to make them perfect. There are two different patches of hair. They grow completely different. So they're going to look different. So when you're starting with brows, you're going to want to perfect that brow so much, and you spent 30 minutes already on the brows. So by doing this step, it's going to help cut that time in half to fill in that brow in less time.
So while you're working, let me ask you a couple questions. When you were doing the foundation, how did you know you attained the right foundation color? How do you, I mean, I know you guys know it because you're professional, but for those of us who are novices, how do we know how to match our foundation?
The best way to foundation match and foundation swatch when you don't know how to, when you go into any makeup counter, any makeup store, take 3 to 4 shades closest to your skin complexion on a clean skin and literally swatch those 4 or 3 foundations on the face, literally swatch.
Okay.
When you swatch, you're allowing it to be able to be visible to the eye, and you can see out of those 4, which one looks like it disappeared the most. Whichever one disappeared the most will be the match.
So it needs to disappear.
It needs to look like it disappeared.
Look like it disappeared.
Like, okay, out of those 3, out of those 4, this one looked like I could barely see it. So this is going to be the match.
Okay.
So typically when we're foundation matching, we will take one at a time and blend it all the way in. Just like lotion, when you blend something to the skin, it disappears.
Okay.
So everything looks like it matched.
Right.
But when you just swatch it on the face and line them up so you could have something to compare to, you'll be able to see exactly what is the match and what isn't.
Okay.
So that's the tip. Take 3 to 4 shades closest to you and just swatching them on that jawline of the face.
Okay. And the next question is, for those of us who have, because we were talking offset how women of color, all women of color, we usually have combination skin. So what about those of us who may have to do different
colors?
Yeah.
So typically all skin of color has those different levels of skin complexion where we're typically could be darker around the frame of our lip or darker in the center of our face. To balance out those skin levels is your foundation and your concealer.
Okay.
So your foundation, you want to definitely match your neck.
Okay.
And then the color, so sometimes people's necks is a little bit darker than their chest,
right.
which is fine, but the hack to that is making sure your concealer matches your chest.
Okay.
So that helps balances out those 2 skin levels.
Okay.
Because what you don't want is your foundation to be too light and it don't match your neck.
Right.
Because if it don't match your neck, then it look like a mask.
Right.
So as long as everything, that foundation is matched completely to that body, you bring in your lightness back with your concealer.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay, and so like this is a concealer that you're using,
Yes.
and you said it's Thrive. Is that your brand of Thread? I'm sorry. Is that your brand of choice? Is that what you're loving right now?
Yes, this is right now my favorite concealer. This is my favorite concealer right now. Thread Beauty. It is Black owned. You can find it at Target, and her whole entire line is $8.
Are you serious?
The entire line, anything you could think of, the entire line is $8.
Okay.
Yes, so really, really good. And it's really good for your pockets.
Absolutely. Especially when you're experimenting. You want to buy high-end everything. Yeah.
And typically how I test out my products is I probably purchase 1 or a tester size of that type.
Okay.
And then see how it performs on myself and clients. And if it did what I needed it to do, I would purchase and invest in a line.
Okay.
So we're just going to repeat that same step on the other eyebrow. Tracing literally where her eyebrow stops growing. So where their hair first starts to grow at the bottom of the brow, we want to just outline that. So it's like a tracing game, really.
Now, does the brush matter when doing this?
The brush does matter.
Okay.
So this is typically considered a eyeshadow brush, which is like a full eyeshadow brush. So it's typically fluffy. But once I apply that liquid concealer, it melts it down into each other to make it more of a flatter brush.
Okay.
So we just really want that body, that width of the brush, so that we can cover up most of that eye, but still flat enough to get clean and crisp lines.
Okay.
And I literally repeat that same step on the other side. At the top of the brow.
And we were talking about trends also, and brows, you know, you saying the blush now is the trend, current trend. We went through a long, and still struggling with some of these brows. What's your take on that?
So brows are definitely not made, because we started with the brows. Brows was very trendy for a long time.
Yes.
And brows is still trendy because the brows is really the story of your face.
Yeah.
Brows can make you look happy. Brows can make you look scary. Can make you look sad and angry. But the trick with it is not to apply super, super light concealer around the brows, because when you do, it'll make that contrast of that brow being that dark brown, black brow, and that light concealer to make it look like the brows are flying. I call them flyaway brows.
Okay.
So when you do like your concealer shade that you're using underneath your eyes, which is typically like 2 to 3 shades lighter than your skin, that's the perfect concealer for outlining your brows.
Okay.
And really, once you have the foundation on and you have some brows, you could pop on lip gloss and be ready to go. Because this is really what you need. You want to make sure your skin is even, the tones is even, your brows are, you know, manicured, and you're good to go after this. And now, like a lot of the major trend really outside of blush is natural glam. Everyone loves them earth tone colors.
I do. I've always,
that natural glam. Still give a pop of the eye, because even Trish, with your green, that's still earth tone. So it still give you that pop of color, that pop of like, hey y'all see me, but it's still really subtle and earthy.
Yeah. I was never really afraid. You know, some people are afraid of makeup. I was never afraid of makeup because I got a lot of face. I got a peanut head and a big face. So I could get away with it. But what do you, and these are for women who are not really comfortable wearing makeup, because a lot of people think when they don't wear makeup that, oh, it's going to feel heavy. And a lot of makeup doesn't. You almost forget you have it on your face. Yeah. But those who kind of tend to shy away, we know, well, I know, we're going to share with our viewers that you do this. This is part of what you do. You teach classes. Go ahead. You can go ahead and tell what you're doing.
So I'm just setting in that concealer with some powder. So literally anything that you use, like liquid or cream, foundation, concealer products, you want to follow it up with the powder. So that helps lock in that liquid and cream in place, so that throughout the day it doesn't move or shift. So all I'm doing is just going in right where I went to place the concealer with that powder, just to lock in that concealer in place. But yeah, so like what you were saying about the face feeling light and still feeling airy, the real trick is less is more.
Yeah.
Less is more. You don't have to put too much. And I always love to start off with less and gradually build, versus going in so hard and having to work it down and knock it down.
Now, how often would you suggest, because as I was started to say, you teach classes, you one-on-one, you do online courses. What is your number one issue that you receive feedback from your students that they might struggle, or is it different, that they might struggle with?
It's that foundation.
Foundation?
Because a majority of my clientele is colored skin. So with colored skin, we come with all those different levels of colors. It's always foundation. Foundation is that number one question. Like, I can't help, I can't mix it. It looks good when I'm in the house, but as soon as I step outside, it's a different color. So foundations is always, but that's the most important. Because like even with the name of products, like foundation is literally what it says it is. It's the foundation of the face. So that's the most important step, is making sure that foundation is the correct shade, the correct type for skin type, because sometimes we have oily skin who use like creams, which is more like it's creamy. So on oil, it's gonna separate.
Right.
So it's like knowing what type of base you're looking for based on your skin type and the color. Those are the main two important.
Okay. So we got the brows done.
Yes, the brows are done. And they look nicely arched.
They do.
And waxed. So now all I'm going to do is go in with a little bit of sculpting, which is AKA contour, just to give her face some type of definition so it doesn't just look flat from the foundation and concealer.
Yeah. And today, guys, we're mainly focusing on the brows. We're focused on that foundation. And she's going to show us the current trend, which is blush. And you were saying, you know, we do shy away from, we've always shied away from, we actually had a laugh offset how you don't know nothing about this because you're too young, but those of us in the 80s, we had the dark black outline lips with gloss, and some women still stuck there.
They still do it. Because I see it. I gotta wipe it off to put their brown lip liner on.
So things have thankfully evolved.
Yes.
Because blush was just really never a thing for me. And I know it was mostly because I'm not trying to even really be funny here, but really the only people we saw wear blush was white women.
That was it. That was their thing.
And I figured they needed it because they didn't have any color. And I'm like, why would we need it? We have color. But it's now I see how the different techniques of how it's applied, how it does enhance.
Yep, and it just adds some color and flesh-like skin to the face, because that's typically what blush is for. Blush is to make, you know, when people squeeze a cheek and turn red, it just gives more of a skin-like look, appearance. So when white people use it, they do use it for more color. They do need to, just so that they won't look flat, so they can have some type of definition and, you know, depth in their face. We use it to add some color so that it can look like skin. So when we add a little bit of those rose tones and those corals, it just adds color to our skin, so it doesn't just look like, oh, it's just makeup, or oh, it's just contour. But yeah, blush has literally taken over the makeup industry. They're literally putting blush underneath the eyes, in the eyebrow hair.
Oh, wow. Well, you was sharing that you can use, and I don't know if we said this, we talk so much. I don't know if we said this on set or not, but you were talking about how different products can be used for different things. So like you said, the blush can be used as a lipstick or even an eyeshadow.
Exactly.
And,
and that's what we did today with her blush. This is an eyeshadow palette by Juvia's Place. And we literally just used some of the coral colors that was in the palette for her blush. Which was eyeshadow. Which is eyeshadow. So now, just going off of what we did with the sculpting of her cheeks, I'm just gonna go ahead and sculpt off her nose just a little bit. And with that trend of natural glam earth tone colors, a lot of people aren't doing too many colors on their eyes. They're literally just taking their sculpting color, their bronzer color, and swiping it on the eyelid.
I like that look. I like the layered color look on the eye, but I really like, especially for everyday look. That bronzy look.
So taking that same bronzer that we used to sculpt her cheeks and her nose, and windshield wiper motions in that eyelid, just to give it some type of color. And this is definitely the perfect everyday look. Now this look, because in our interview when we were talking earlier, this look can go for everyday and get boosted up to camera. And by boosting it, it's just going a little bit lighter under her eyes and a little bit darker on her contour. So it's literally, so for natural glam, so with her contour, we want to go about 2 to 3 shades lighter. For a TV or for camera, you go like 3 to 4 shades. So you just boost everything up to another level, just so that that camera could pick it up.
Capture it. It looks great. So now where can those who are interested take classes, and how often do you offer them?
So I do my group classes once a month. I'm here in Atlanta. And I also offer one-on-ones, virtual one-on-ones, and I call them FaceTime sessions. So like if you just going to an event, you like, I need help with my glam, let me FaceTime Jazz real quick, just so she can help me with what I'm already doing. So those type of sessions. So I do one-on-one groups, and I also have an ebook for my people who love to follow step-by-step instructions.
I need to get that. Yeah.
So I typically, because I love to teach makeup, I know that there is a lot of different people how they teach, like different ways they are like to be taught, which is hands-on, which is my one-on-ones, group classes, which is in a group environment with your friends, reading step by step, which is the ebook, and next is going to be video tutorials.
See, come on now.
For my visual learners.
Yeah.
So I'm
and
really...
it's funny that you say that, because when we started this show out, we started on the radio.
Yep.
Bringing beauty tips. And a lot of the feedback that we got, which was why we transitioned to TV in 2019, was that, okay, well, we hear what she's saying, but we can't see it. So we can't duplicate what we can't see. And so I think that the tutorial will be excellent.
Yes. And some people are visual learners. Some people just need to watch and see.
Yeah.
You know, and not even do at the same time. Just let me watch your steps and then go back home and reply.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to market to everyone so that everyone knows how to do their makeup. Because I feel like as women, we should know how to at least do
The basic.
the basic look.
Yeah.
So
I think it's wonderful. So what's the name of your ebook again?
it's called the S3 technique. So the S3 technique is the main 3 important steps of the face, which is the stick, stay, and spray. So stick is all things cream, liquids, sticky, primer, foundation, concealers. Stay is all powders.
Okay.
And spray is the actual finish.
Okay.
So each step helps lock in the previous step.
Okay.
So the stay product, which is the powders, help lock in the stick products. And then the spray helps locks in everything else.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though I can't stand that darn spray. We'll be okay. We'll be all right.
I'm always like, it's a quick little mini bath, little shower.
Right.
And it's some of the sprays come out very hard and some of them come out misty.
Yeah.
So I would say to definitely try out a misty one. That way it's real fine. You don't feel like you saturating yourself or drowning yourself.
It looks good. Looks good. So we talked about your right now favorite product.
Yes.
What is anything else before we flow on? Is there any advice, any words of encouragement that you can give? And you can even talk on being a balancing mom, balancing your career and your entrepreneurship with being a mom. Just if you will pause for a moment, I believe they want you to look at this camera here and just kind of encourage, at this one here, and encourage us women out there who are trying to balance everything. How do we sustain? How do we maintain our mind, body, soul, the whole
spirit.
Everything?
Breathe. Take your time. It is not a rush. Everybody wants to rush to the top. What is the top? What is the top? You get up there and you're still trying to figure out where else to go. So enjoy the journey, enjoy the steps, and breathe. Just take your time. And this is me speaking to myself too, because sometimes I can get myself overwhelmed or feel rushy or feel like I got to get this done. I got to do this. I got to do that. Nope. Take a step back, breathe, recenter, focus one step at a time. And I promise everything will come together and it'll just be so much more easier.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jazz. We're going to see more of Jazmine in the near future. But I thank you so much just for your professionalism. And I don't know, I just feel somewhere within me just to really, really pour into you that you are doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
I know it doesn't always feel like it, but you are doing an amazing job. Continuing it, however I can support, we can support you. We're here for you.
Yes, thank you so much, Trish.
Absolutely. Guys, we will be right back.
Every day a woman reigns.
You're watching Trish Stanley TV, where the everyday woman reigns.
Every day a woman reigns.
I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today's episode. We had the beautiful Jazmine Page here sharing some wonderful tips. Please be sure to go and connect with her on Instagram. She has amazing classes. If you're kind of skeptical, and I know that we can be sometimes, she's new to you. She's not new to me. I know what she can do. Just go to Instagram, follow her, and watch her journey. I promise you and guarantee you will be looking her up for her services real shortly. But I want to thank her for coming and joining us here today on the set, and also our model, India, who stepped in for us during the tutorial. Guys, make sure we grow and we get better in every aspect, but also in the way that we present ourselves. We should always want to improve our looks, our attitudes, anything that comes from the inside and flows on the outside. We always want to be able to enhance it and make it beautiful. And just as Jazmine said, she's going to give you a glow to your natural beauty. Guys, thank you for hanging out. And as always, love isn't love unless you give it away. Give some love away today, guys. See ya.